So, Hanukkah, known as the Festival of Lights. It's a Jewish holiday that celebrates a biblical event when a one-day supply of oil burned for 8 days to protect God's people. And Jesus, he made the fishes and loaves multiply back in the biblical times. And you know, God still does these type of miracles to this day. He continues to make something out of nothing whenever his people need it. This particular story took place in 1972 in El Paso, Texas. And there was a small prayer group there that this amazing thing happened to. So they happened to be reading a Bible passage, and it was in regards to preparing a banquet. That particular verse, it was Luke 14:13, which reads, "When you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed." Well, the prayer group in the 70s at that time was led by a Father Richard Thomas. And him and that small prayer group decided that year they wanted to share their Christmas dinner. And they wanted to share them with what were known as the Mexican trash grubbers. Now, these were families that were in the Juarez, Mexico area, and they didn't have money for the necessities of life to provide for themselves and their families. So they would go through trash cans along the Rio Grande area, and they would try to find items that they could resell in order to provide. So it was really nice, really cool that this small prayer group decided we want to help them, invite them to our Christmas dinner. So they began to prepare, and they say that it took days to prepare for this banquet. And in the meantime, as they're preparing, word is spreading like wildfire amongst the families in Juarez. The guest list was now over 300, and the prayer group, they were expecting half that, for about 150. So they didn't know how they were going to have enough food for all these people. But get this, the day of the Christmas meal, there was plenty of food. And it cannot be explained other than a miracle. The volunteers were so confused. The volunteers from the prayer group that were slicing and handing out food. For instance, the ones that were slicing the hams, they were giving generous portions to each person that came by in the line. And no matter how much they sliced, how much they gave, they claim that those hams stayed the same size. They never did diminish. And the tamales, they were multiplying in their serving bowls. Yes, I know. If you're a Mexican like myself, tamales are a Christmas staple. They are vital. So as the people are getting their meal, just enjoying the fellowship and the time together, it's a wonderful time. And at the end of this banquet meal, there were tons of leftovers, so much so that the volunteers from the prayer group were having to give them out to all the families as they left. After all was said and done and everybody had left, the prayer group was left just sitting there in silence, just confused. But it wasn't just confusion. They said they were also encouraged, because they were encouraged just by how inexplicably they had been provided for that Christmas. It was amazing. It was so moving to the group that they decided they wanted to make this a tradition every year. But not only that, start helping throughout the year as well. So they reached out to get materials, reached out spiritually too, to be able to help these Juarez neighbors. And over time as they did this, things changed. Big time. There were long-standing fights amongst some of the family members and the groups in Juarez, but over time, that slowly diminished. And in its place, there was healing and reconciliation. There were also volunteers from El Paso and Juarez that got together. And what they did was they built a food and fish ranch, also a water cistern, and a brickyard. Now you may be thinking, cool, that's an amazing story, but what about the multiplication of the supplies and the food? Did that continue? Well, as of the 1990s, when this story came out, it was continuing. There were farm grapes, flour tortillas, condensed milk for the children, lime and plastering supplies for building, and so much more that just seemed to multiply out of nowhere. The volunteers, they said it just mysteriously increased. And there were many witnesses during that time that could attest to all of these things. And it also said, in addition to all these, food, building supplies, there were physical healings that were taking place amongst these people, which is just amazing. Father Thomas said a quote, and he says, "Although we try to keep records, it is a feeble attempt. Frankly, we just don't have the help to keep track of all the miracles that God does here." End quote. What did you guys think of that? How cool is that? When I did a couple months ago the biscuit story of the old woman and her flour was replenishing, sort of like that, but for a whole village and area. It's amazing. I love these type of stories. Let me know your thoughts on this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was a blessing to you. And I hope you guys are having or had, depending when this video comes out, a great Christmas. And God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to see you next time.